Okay, so I got an 11, which counting back around, that brings us to Glenn. Glenn, what happened last time?
Oh man. Well, our party met on the road to Bree, and we all introduced ourselves to one another, and it appeared that we all shared a common goal of making it to Bree. On our travel there, though, we heard screams just off the road, and upon investigating, we saw these creatures. I think metagame we call them marsh dwellers, but they slaughtered a bunch of elves that looked like they were traveling possibly to the Grey Havens, and we took out the creatures and we were trying to figure out what they were, but they were very close to Bree when this attack happened. So upon defeating the creatures, we piled up the elven bodies, we grabbed whatever scraps we could to give to their kindred, and collected some of their ashes. Upon making it to Bree, we went to the Prancing Pony, and we were greeted by Gandalf, the one person we were supposed to meet there. And sitting down, we informed him what took us so long, and he informed us on our quest, which is to travel just a little ways into the South Downs and to recover lore or whatever information we can about the enemy, these creatures, and why they're getting so brazen. And with that, we all took our own time and went to bed, and we're preparing to leave the next morning.
Yes, Gandalf cryptically suggested that the kingdoms of Arnor, in the time they fell nearly 1,000 years ago, there must have been some kind of subterfuge, some sort of weakness within them. There must have been something that could have allowed the realm of Angmar to have corrupted these people. So there had to have been something that happened, and so he wants you to gather songs and lore and legend that could have been left there and no one has seen since those times when the places were abandoned. Two of you, these are the lost realms of your people, the Dunedain. And so, and then the Hobbit, as I understand it, is a scholar and a curious person. And of course, the elf, Dontharai, well, your people are being murdered. And the final mission of the elves to pass into the west is endangered. And so, you form this fellowship, and so everyone, the Prancing Pony, let's see here. The Prancing Pony is a incredibly comfortable, if rustic, place to sleep. And the rooms are fine. The beds sturdy and comfortable and stuffed. And the food good. And I wonder how you pass the night. Now, I know Dontharai, I think maybe we talked about this last time. Dontharai had, maybe you put it in the chat. But how do you pass the night? What do you dream, or do you dream at all? Starting with Celifarn.
Dontharai starts in the tavern and looks at the window and decides to walk out into the streets of Bree to get some fresh air and consider the events that had happened. The deaths of the elves has hit him pretty hard, since it is his charge to protect the elves on the way to the Tower Hills. By the end of the night, he comes in crack of dawn, not having slept, and the Barleyman Tavern Keep tells him that he's up early before anyone else, but welcomes him to go ahead and grab something to eat while he waits for everyone else to enter the common halls.
In the morning, you mean?
Yeah, in the morning.
Okay. All right. Celifarn, what do you do during the night?
Celifarn, after he spends a night bonding with the other members of the fellowship as best he can, trying out some of that pipe leaf,
Trying some of the pickles.
Yes.
I don't know how liberal you are with the pickles, Paco. We'll get to that momentarily. Sorry, go ahead, Alex. I'm interested though.
Celifarn basically just ingratiates himself with his new companions and speaks with the locals in Bree, trying to kind of move himself through all the people around. And when he set off on this task, when Gandalf had sent him the letter, this is more or less the sort of worries he expected to discover. So he is not too deeply troubled as of yet by all of the events. He feels this is almost his purpose. He's ending up at the place he's meant to be.
Okay. Let me do it. Okay. You said you speak with the locals. Roll a success die, please. D6.
Sure, okay. So got a 6.
6. Celifarn, let me see who you encounter here. Among those who are still awake, there is a human woman. She is young with dark hair. Tufts of her hair have been torn out. Ragged patches on her skull indicate where her hair has been torn. And she works the stables here, nervously. It seems that she is mistreated. And startled when you approach her, I assume you calm her down as you say that you try to, get to know people. She says, "I have heard a word. They say that this will be the worst winter in the ages. The worst winter that has come in ages. Some say the worst time since the plague."
Celifarn is rather taken aback, at least by this, hearing worry and danger of the weather in the immediate future. He's a ranger. He's spent plenty of time out there in the wilds, and he knows just how bad it can get around here. It can get even worse. He takes the woman's rumor, prophesizing, whatever you want to think of it as, to heart, but when he speaks back to her, he just tries to allay her worries and says things along the lines of, "Oh, if it's frozen to a crisp for us, it's frozen to a crisp for all the terrible beasts that seek us, and we'll be safer yet from them. Stay warm."
This does seem to calm her down. Let me find let's see, make a there we go. You can make a scan test or an awareness test.
Bless you. I suppose I shall make an awareness test then.
This is to notice something.
And this is the sort of thing I could use hope to try. Like I could use a point of hope to give myself a success dice.
Yeah, you could use hope. You also have your distinctive features in your equipment, if just as a reminder to everybody in case that comes up.
I think I'll burn a point of hope here. May add this on and I will make the roll. Nice. A great success. I got a 6 on one of the successes.
So with a with a 6, it says that you can gain an additional insight. So I'll tell you what you see, and you can gain an additional insight. You can do this without being detected, like you'll be assured that you aren't known or seen in this, or you can learn more things, like more than parallel to this, but something different. You notice that here in the stables, this is mentioned before, but I believe Paco was here earlier today and bought a donkey, if I recall correctly. And it is a sorry-looking donkey. And the steeds in this place do look sorry themselves. But you also, with your almost preternatural ranger senses, are able to notice that the doors are scuffed and torn, and the edges are ripped, and the wood chipped, and it is not well maintained. Whoever maintains this place is ill with his charge.
I'm not sure immediately how I'd want to use my success to...
Well, I'll get back with you. I'll get back with you if you want to do that.
Okay.
Think about it, yeah. Let me see. Make sure I have this right. Okay. So, Paco, how do you use your evening in Bree?
Paco is, after the events of the day and the excitement, he's tied into the ale a bit, and he's looked around for any other halflings in the room. Bree does have halflings, and he's going to try to hook up with them. He'll buy them a beer, and then they'll argue over whether they're related or not. And I just want to make a connection. If we're related, and which we probably are, might even have met before, I'll just get a word on the local knowledge. And I was going to mention that I guess the death of the elves is public knowledge. I guess it was spread through the village.
No.
We didn't keep it secret, did we?
Well, it's up to you. Yeah, you could keep it secret or not. Yeah.
Whether and the Brelanders would take it either way. Like learning that elves have died. Elves, they don't see many elves. I don't know. I'm just a simple hobbit. But if it's been told, then I would share the knowledge and say, tonight we drink to some of the Fae folk, and I put some pickle juice in the beers to give it a bit of a salty tang, and it's all agreed that it tastes better. And hopefully I find my third cousin, second time removed, and we discuss the local politics and argue some more, and I stay into the wee hours of the night until I might see Dunthuri come in around 4 or 5 in the morning, and by that point I'll tip back a few ales with whoever is left in the dregs of the Bree village. I'm picking up rumors. I'm getting to know people. I'm laughing. It's a bit of the Irish wave commode, if I may say. The hobbits tend to turn anything into a party.
Yeah. For while oh, go ahead.
Sorry, and the pony, I think his name was Braddock.
I didn't get the name. What is the name again?
Braddock?
Braddock. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. It has 1 vigor.
Is it a mare or is it a, yeah, I guess it would be. Can ponies have gender? It's not like a mule, is it?
That's a good question.
Ponies, yeah, ponies can be male.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that it's a mare, yeah. An old mare, long since broken down.
Oh, nonsense. I'm going to go out and stroke it and pat it down and get some oats and start to talk to it because everyone else probably passed out at this point. It's 4 a.m. I'll last my beer. I'll go out and cuddle with the pony.
Nice. All right.
Bonding.
Don't let me forget about that. But the first thing is you easily find hobbits. For you are correct. About half the people here seem to be hobbits. And they are much more gregarious than you're used to. And they don't seem afraid at all of being about interacting with big folk either. They seem to have no problem with it. So roll a success die.
For what? In what context?
For a D6, this is for my list of rumors.
Oh, I see. Okay. Thought I had a macro sheet.
Let's see here. Yes, they nearly make it such that they would drive you well past your bedtime, and even into a new breakfast, if not a midnight snack, if it weren't for you working a long time to politely exit the conversation on how you're related and all the different ways that you're connected, and almost like an interrogation in terms of figuring out exactly who you are from where you came from. But then there's something else that they're quite bothered by, and it's the taste of the yield this year. One chubby, balding hobbit with hair on the sides of his head and his head bulging, looking almost as big as his belly, and big bloated red cheeks, Santa Claus cheeks. He says, have you tasted any of the barley since you come into town?
Yeah, I pick up a bit.
What?
I've drank some of it, I think, but
Does it taste young to you? Taste young. It doesn't taste like it is, yes, it tastes green.
So I'm gonna roll the dregs of my last drink mournfully, and then smell it to see if, as a young hobbit who's probably had too many before his time, can smell any skunkiness or.
Yeah. Another hobbit, as you all are doing this, he's got a, I don't know what those are called, but like I don't want to call it a pirate hat, but it's a narrow hat with a feather in it. I don't remember what they're called. But he's got this hat, and he's got big white eyebrows, and he's got big white mutton chops. He's like, yes, it tastes a bit off this year, I think. It doesn't taste quite right. It has a sweetness to it. And so they start a whole fuss about this. You smell of it, Paco. And it does smell as if the ale is brewed. It's as if the brewmeister did a poor job. It's edible, but yeah, it's almost as if it were brewed poorly.
It's almost like, sounds like some of the guild has to get down on their locals. Have been letting things slide a bit. I noticed when we came in, the stables were shoddy. Still kept animals.
Yeah, they gotta find the dude's name. I'm sorry. What is the guy's name?
Knob?
The stable master. His name is here it is.
And then
That's just old Master Fernie. He's gone downhill in the past few years. It's sure thing. You know, his family used to, they controlled all the horse trade here in Breland for a long time, but I think the man drinks a bit too much. That's a lot coming from me. And they all, like, you know, elbow each other, you know, and yeah.
So
and-
I'm not. I've been controlling my drinking, but not controlling it. But so I have a clear eye as I kind of look around, nod sagely, suck on my pipe a bit, puff, puff, puff. You don't say, puff, puff, don't say.
What was? See, I already forgot. There was something else. You go and you lovingly you provide your affections to Braddock, the pony.
Well, at that point, the young hobbits probably had a few too many, and it'll be 4 or 5, and he'll probably pass out with his pony, unless
All right.
he sees it, or the ranger. The ranger might check in on him, actually, find him snoozing with his pony.
Yeah.
Arm around.
Yeah, Celifarn, in seeing the state of this place and talking to that woman, you find Paco is curled up in the straw.
Celifard has his like arms crossed and he's looking at him from above. It's like, this is not an appropriate place to be sleeping, and from the looks of it, it's probably not the best place for your steed to be sleeping either. If possible, I'd like to spend my success die and try to ascertain whether this place is in so poor condition, the stables, as to whether or not it threatens even the lives of the animals that'd be staying in here if there was a ordinary or even a severe winter that hits.
Most certainly. Most certainly. Yeah. Okay, so Glorifarn, what are you doing in your evening in Bree?
Glorifarn would spend his evening looking at his maps of the area to try and determine if the route we're taking is, I don't know, any fraught with danger or difficult terrain, or just trying to take his job seriously of guiding the group to our destination.
Yeah, you could make a, I can imagine this being, and you tell me how this would work, right? So, but I could see this being a travel check, lore, or explore, depending on how you do it.
Okay. I think it would be a travel check. Let's see how this goes.
I think a travel check would just be a normal check. And then, of course, you'd add your benefit of having the
Maps.
the maps, yeah.
All right. Ooh, 2 successes. And nothing on my... Okay. Yeah. 2 successes and nothing else.
Okay. So it succeeds, and then you also get 2 6s?
Yes.
Nice. Okay, yeah, you can, with that, I will give you a bonus. You can, I'm going to use a little PBTA thing here, and you can forward a D6 to the group guide for their travel check for that. And additionally, because you have 2 6s, 2 success dice, you can also do that 2 more times, because you can gain 2 additional successes. So you can give them 3 success dice, or you can give this benefit and gain an insight about something about the region, or you can ask an additional question. You can find out something more.
I think I'll take the benefit and then try and gain an insight of the region.
Okay, so that would be 2 Cellophane as the guide. When you make your travel check, you'll add another 2 success dice to it. And then for the insight, what else? Let me see. Well, actually, insight, let me tell you. As you study the maps that you have, Glorifarn, you gain the sense, because you have these detailed maps, right? Is it what
Yeah.
it says, detailed maps? So you have
Yeah.
these additional information and features, and perhaps it's marked with all sorts of runes, or you know, maybe it's written in your ancient tongue, in Adunaic or something. So like all these details, and you see that along the path you have chosen, because you all chose not to travel by road and to take the most direct path. And you see that along that way, you think that there is, I want to try to make this as helpful as possible. There are these hills in the South Downs, essentially. And the hills provide opportunities and challenges. It is possible that you could get lost among these hills, and it could delay you, adding additional days to your journey. But it's also possible you may find things among those hills, beyond the destination that Gandalf marked on your map. And I will also I'll also tell you this. It's also true that you suspect that all of you were probably correct in your assumption that it will mask your movement from enemies. So that's one benefit.
Nice. That would help out a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
All right. So the sun rises on the morning in Bury. And let's see. Now, the way this works is you already know where you're going. So you don't... I will describe what you see around you, but I will actually just tell you this is south and this is, you know... something different about this game is you're so competent that you have a map and you know where you're going. So it's really a question of like what happens along the way and how you navigate things as they occur. But you chose to leave Bury and cross the Great East Road and head into the South Downs, which goes directly to Cardolan. And just south of the South Downs, among their hills, somewhere in the jagged marshes and wastelands of Cardolan, is this ancient site of nobility that's marked on your map. And initially, across the East Road, you can see this picture here, even kind of just to ping some stuff here. There's this big berm where you can enter the green, and I think it's the east side of Bury, and outside of that berm, that would be west, and then the opposite side of Bury, you look at it. The East Road curves along the hobbit holes of the Bury Hill. So you can't quite see it from here, but there's this kind of like goes up probably 200-300 feet, and then the hobbit holes all cover the hillside, and you would have to kind of follow around to the left, the main road outside of town to the southeast, and following the east road will bring you to the gates to the east side of Bree. And once you reach the east road, if you head south, you'll be on your way. Is there anything that you want to do before you leave Bree? You've already prepared your provisions and everything. You know, you can assume you're competent. You know, you have everything and all your equipment and stuff.
So Celifarn is our travel guide, is that correct?
Yeah, so last
Our
time,
guide?
yeah, what I got is Celifarn is the guide, Glorifarn is the hunter, Paco is the scout, and Dontharai is the lookout.
Okay, gotcha. So, yeah. I have no preparation for Glorifarn. Does anybody else have anything they want to do?
Really, Antarai will go and seek out the apothecary and try to trade some of his roots and barks for some medicine that would be more suitable to the members of our party in case they get hurt.
Okay, well, what is your level of wealth?
I carry what I need.
Gotcha. Well, since you don't have kind of significant wealth, I would say that would be a check, or I'm sorry, a test. And you know, I don't know. I think you could use a plethora of skills here, right? You could all of them. You could use song or riddle or persuade. You know, what do you think you would do to try to gain the favor of this person? I guess I'll describe them when you go into the apothecary. There is a dark-skinned woman here. She looks like a foreigner and not a Breelander. She looks like a rough woman, but and you see her hands are calloused and dirty from working the soil and gathering herbs and roots. It looks as if, and probably you meet her. Hold on just a second. What? Oh. You meet her, trying to find basically the new part of town where all the foreigners stay. The East Row. There's been an influx of people from the east, and maybe that makes sense because you're getting ready to head that way, and you follow the east road south of the Hobbit down the Hobbit Hills, and then you get into, frankly, a bad part of town. It doesn't look as good as the Green or the East Gate coming in where the Prancing Pony is, and some of the older parts of town. And yeah, this is a foreigner, not a Breelander. She curtly looks up from her mortar and pestle, and just says, "Yes, what can I help you?" "Oh my, an elf!" And she is suitably shocked.
Anton, I see that you are working with herbs. I'm from the elven country out west, but I'm in search for herbs and other healing items that I may take with me that are more suitable for humans.
She looks pensive. Oh, go
Would you
ahead.
be willing to trade some of your stock with some of mine?
She looks pensive. She says, "This coming fall will have a terrible chill. Everyone is already gathering and drying herbs of that purpose." She looks at some that carry a strong it has like this, I don't know what you call it, that quality of like eucalyptus or tea tree, or something like that, where it has this, like, it opens the nostrils and eyes and everything. You can tell it has a potency. It's probably kingsfoil. It's probably like a really potent herb, and it's valuable. And she says, do you have anything that could be suitably a thing of exchange? Yeah. Or acquire a skill. I would propose, actually, you would need to awl her, or do healing, a healing check to kind of impress her. They're like, like what I have is, or even show her how you could do something. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was about to propose healing because I was sitting there thinking,
Yeah.
I would have to know if I have it, and I think healing would show that.
Yeah.
And then I might be if I get successes, I can use those successes to flavor the text.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'll roll for healing. I don't know. Hold on. There we go. Oh, okay. I failed that.
Man, yeah. She looks sympathetic. You can tell that you're not the only person to have come here and asked for such herbs. And she looks forlornly at the supply she has, knowing it will need to last for some time after they're dried and tinctured and put away. And she says, I'm sorry, Master Elf. What I have must last for 2 seasons. Safe journeys to you. And then, with sorrow, she goes.
I understand that, and Donfer understands that, and he'll still part with a couple of elven herbs that are not as valuable as what she has, but will still help out in times to come.
Yeah, you're able to pay for that. All right. Yeah. Anybody else want to do anything in Bree before you head out?
Yeah, if you would indulge me, Patrick was suddenly woken by Celopharn looking over him as he checked in, and he's like, oh, and he had his head kind of in the shanks of the pony going away. And the pony looks actually better. You can tell that Paco's brushed it. But Paco looks up suddenly, he's awake. He's blinking somewhat, though, a bit bloodshot eyes. Here, my new friend. You're a ranger, right? You could be a lookout. I have to look into something. And I'm going to scoot off and sneak into the cellar and check out the beer steins, because this new skunky beer has got me worked up. And I'm hoping I could, with my new friend's help, he has a good nose, it appears, and seems more witty than me. I might be able to find a lead or something. I heard about the name Fernie, and I heard even his name is kind of...
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to sneak into the cellar and check out the beer kegs.
Oh, you think the beer and its low quality is getting to him? Is that what you're thinking?
I think bad beer will make a town bad, as my gramps used to say.
Celopharn hesitates when you describe it that way, because he's not exactly a drinker. It's kind of like he goes like,
I can't remember, but if you're helping someone, I think you can provide a bonus success die. Is that right? I can't remember.
You can spend hope to assist them as well. So if you
Oh.
assist them, you have to spend hope to help them.
Oh.
But certainly, I'll go with them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then you could do that, and yeah. So it sounds like a good old Paco stealth roll is what it sounds like.
Okay. Would it help or be bad if I'm inebriated?
Maybe
With Paco, I'm thinking it might cancel out. I don't know. Maybe that's why you had this idea. I don't know.
Well, yeah. You're probably right. I did get a bonus die for getting help. I hope that.
Oh, sure. I'll burn a point of hope to help. That gives you 1 bonus success die.
Okay. I think I got this right. What did I do? Oh,
That's a lot of ones. Oh, but that's a Gandalf.
Ooh.
all right. So,
Yeah, you automatically succeed, and you said that you were asking for Celifarn's help, so you're both here. So this is what you see down in the cellar.
we may have to test everyone. I see. You're like, no, my little friend.
I don't know if we have I don't know if we have enough time in the day to test all of these brews.
You're wise. You rangers are wise. And you can tell I'm pretty inebriated, but surprisingly acute. And one of my eyes is centered on you. The other one kind of wanders. Wall eyes, but one eye's always steady.
Celifarn follows you along beside, like closely, and after you're like testing the brews as you go, he nudges you along to the next one in line each time, making sure you don't tarry.
Indeed. Another skunky stein.
Mm.
Won't do. Is it the farmer's barley, or is it the brewer, or is it somebody been tampering with it? Can I tell if somebody's added some ingredient?
Yeah, you make it down to beneath a granary, which right off you can tell that something is wrong about this place because it's locked up, which makes no sense and shouldn't be necessary. But the most ill-intentioned thing that you can tell about this place is that no one wants people to find out about this. But the barley is indeed bad. It is as if it wouldn't keep well, as if it were gathered green and then forcefully stored and is gathering a stink. It's gathering a turn to it, and it smells. It smells as if young barley were gathered and then stored and then maybe so they're not no one's trying to poison anyone. You can tell that, but what you can also tell is that something has actually happened. Something has gone wrong with the actual crop yield this year.
This doesn't bode well if there's a severe winter on the horizon.
Yeah, and you can both make a lore check.
Any bonuses or anything?
I don't think so. I mean, fail. You both have a bad feeling about this. Something in the back of your mind itches, as if you have smelled or felt this before. But the best you can say is, indeed, it seems that Bree might be in for a poor winter if without some change or help.
What can we do? I look at him. How can we correct this? Once a brew is made, it's made. Can it be blessed or something? Is there some sort of elixir or antidote? Hiccup. I better test it again. And I feel
Perhaps the bruise could be fixed in some way, but little one, I am I am more worried how they're going to expect to feed people through the winter. This rot, this tinge, this taint, it's only going to grow worse as the weeks and months pass. And this is far more quantity of grain than you or I could provide. He laughs nervously. We're leaving too soon to do anything about this. And noting by the fact this place is locked up, clearly they're aware of the circumstances themselves. I wonder what... My first thoughts out of character is we would need to seek help from another large agricultural area nearby. To even have a potential of helping the people of Bree, because if things really go as severely as is purported between this and the weather, looking at a winter of people starving.
All right.
Really?
So
I was just worried about the beer.
A beer only fills your belly for so long, my friend. We'll have to look into this later. Come, we must meet with the others. Let them know of what we've found.
all right. So you here you are, having departed the east portion of the city, beyond the granary, beyond this apothecary, and the new part of town, what is called the East Row and the East Gate, past the Hobbit Hills, and onto the East Road, and then you turn south across the fields into the South Downs, and you see ahead of you. It is by the way, the third era, 2965, and it is spring time. And it is a brisk day in the spring, 64 degrees, what we would call it. It will probably drop to just above freezing at night, you think. And it is otherwise clear. The skies are clear, and it is a pretty, a beautiful spring day. Things are still green following the first rains of spring. And you have lush green hills far off, miles ahead in the distance. And you know that on those hills, the fog banks laying between them, that those are the South Downs. And that you must wind your way between the South Downs to make it into the long abandoned kingdom of Cardolan. So, a journey phase. We start. We've already assigned the roles. We've set the path. It all starts with a marching test, and that is the guide who will make a travel test.
Okay. And the two bonus dice that Glenn has gotten available for me, do I roll them on this first one, or do I have to pick and choose?
Yeah, I'm thinking it'll just be the first one. So this may be the thing that makes this whole thing go well or ill.
Okay. Fingers crossed. Thanks for the bonus dice, Glenn. Great success.
Great success.
Nice.
And you have a 6, which means that you gain an additional hex of distance. So let me see here. For some reason, I didn't write it down. That's kind of useless. It's okay, though. 6. Therefore, you travel across the open spaces of the South Downs until you make it into the hills. You can see here along the first hills a line of ancient ruined towers, miles apart. You can immediately tell that no one has gone this way in a long, long while. You begin on your 4th day winding your way through the South Downs. And you suspect that you only have 1 or 2 hillsides miles ahead until you make it out of the South Downs and into Cardolan, when something occurs. And it's the hunter. Now, I did use the expanded rules for Strider because I thought they were cool. But that being said, because you're a hunter, you can always use hunting somehow. If you can, if you can think of a way. I'm not going to take that from you, because essentially the way it works is the hunter's going to notice this. The hunter, Glorifarn, you are the one that's going to be able to act on what's about to happen. But you can also use a different skill test, if you choose. And anyways, this is what happens. Glorifarn, as you gather your camp, and you are probably on watch, maybe the last watch of the morning, and people are just awakening, and you have ascended one of the last hillsides, Glorifarn, where you can see these final couple of hills ahead of you, between you and Cardolan, when your heart sinks, and you can see among the smoky fog banks between the hills, moving, and then you hear a familiar noise, a kind of bestial growling. Many of those things that slew the elves are down there among the fog. They far outnumber you. If you don't find a way around, if you don't find a way through this, you suspect that to avoid them will take an entire day of travel.
Oh man, okay. This is worrisome. Okay. Let's see here. What would you like me to roll to see if I can find a way around this horde of these creatures?
Yeah, so you can always use, and I can propose something if you want, or you can always use hunting. I can suggest some things if you prefer, or you could propose some skills or some ideas. But it's you in this case. It's going to be Glorifarn who's going to carry the day or fail.
All right, let's try some hunting then. See what I get.
Well, what do you do then? I was thinking maybe hunting. You could find the animal paths for animals. As a ranger, far foretell ahead of people the safe paths.
Yeah, looking for like a hidden animal trail that could possibly lead us around without giving away our position to these things.
All right, let's see it.
Let's see here. Okay, and repeat die. Okay, that's a Gandalf. And I hit my
Nice.
target
Automatic
number.
success. Any success dice?
Yes, 1. I got 1 6.
Man, okay. So, you find just such an animal path. I don't think there's any benefit to a success dice I can see, just at the journey events table. Correct me if I'm wrong, but looking at it, I don't see any benefits to a success die. However,
No, I don't think there is.
but you do manage to warn everyone and guide them through a path unseen beyond the hills. And you make it past the foggy banks at the bottom of that hill to another hillside where you're certain that you're safe from these monsters. And you make it back up onto a hillside, and you can see the kingdom of Cardolan stretching miles ahead of you off into the horizon. And this starts your 5th day of travel. You will also gain 2 fatigue points. This will be, I think everyone gains
All right.
it. I think it was. Or maybe, okay. I literally just put that down. I was like, is it one or who? Resolve event. Marching test. Okay. I don't know if anybody remembers that. I can't remember if it's just the person that gets fatigue or if it's everybody. I think it's everybody. Resolve event.
I think it's everybody.
I think it's everybody.
Yeah. Or gained by each player hero. Yeah, okay, so everybody gets 2 fatigue points. Okay. All right. And now starting on to the 5th day of your journey, you would make another marching test.
Would that be travel check from me?
Yeah, I'm sorry. The guide would make a travel test.
Gotcha. This is going to probably be far less successful than the last one, my friends. Let's
Uh-oh.
see. Oh, good rolls. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Great success.
Yeah, and you gain an additional hex. Therefore, you find ways. I'm looking ahead here just to check. You think that you see smoke as if there are other people here, somewhere off in the distance. You wonder if you hear noises on your 5th night, but you are canny and careful, and maybe you don't light a fire, and you're able to arrive on the 6th day without any interruption. And you see it. Ruins. Statues, the markings of your ancestors. It's clear to you that that's what this is.
Do these ruins, are there enough of them that we can identify what this place was?
Yeah, this is without a doubt the ruins of a noble noble of Cardolan, which, as such, it must be the crypt of Kalinyar that you seek out. It is overgrown. Those places forming a path are just the marshy wastelands between gnarled trees that overhang in paths, and there are vines and weeds everywhere. Vine and leaf cover the ancient stones. There are several of them. You can see that there are 4 stones here. You are here to try to find, what some ancient lore or song from the fall of the kingdom of Cardolan. And there are at least 4 structures that you can see here. Let's see. One of them is, directly ahead. You can see a few statues, all of them ruined. Another one to your left front shows a partially shattered fountain. And a third one overgrown with vine. And a 4th one that looks like it may have been a house, designed in the Numenorian style, which is not seen in these lands.
Selafarn says to everyone that we should stick together. Everyone, keep a lookout for any cellars or places that would have been preserved.
So, I'll just pick a caller for this initial decision here. Don Therai. Which of these places would you like to investigate? Or what would you like to do? Oh, you're muted. Rainy may have stepped away. Oh, wait, there he is.
Sorry, I was about to use the restroom.
Oh,
My bad.
I'm sorry.
Um,
My bad. You can do that. You can go to the bathroom if you want.
No, sorry. Can you tell me what the places were?
Yeah. So the one directly ahead of you looks as if it has several shattered statues. The one to your left front has a partially shattered fountain. The one to your beyond the one in front of you, the one ahead of that, is covered in vine and leaf and is obscured, and then the far one to your left front looks as if it were once a home made in the Numenorian style.
I would say the leaf and stuff would probably catch my eye a little bit more keenly than the other stuff.
Very well. Let's go and look.
I would approach it very cautiously though, and warily, in order to keep myself safe, and that's one of my distinctive features, as well as wary.
For that purpose, I want you to make an awareness test. You can add that distinctive feature, of course. This will be for something different than everyone else, but everyone else can make an awareness test.
Awareness.
Okay.
Okay, so I gain 1 because I'm inspired.
The Eye of Sauron. Turned what would have been a great roll into a failure.
I passed my awareness test.
Nice. Okay. And then Dantharai, did you pass yours?
Mine.
Or not Dantharai, sorry. Dantharai, yes. Because I know you were adding 1. Did that bring it up to a success? Wait, no, it's got a 1. Wait, no, a 1 is fine because the 1 is not. Yeah, did that pass?
I 2. I rolled an advantage and got both 1s on it.
Oh goodness. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you advance carefully. Also, I think what it is you find it maybe disconcerting that these other people are allowed. Particularly the Hobbit. And so you probably begin to think of how you can try to mask your own presence more than find the presence of anything else. Meanwhile, though, Glorifarn, as you approach this, I think I may have this the wrong one. I think it's this one over here. As you said that you did the one with the vines and leaves. Glorifarn, you see a break in the leaves. There is a stone, a bottom portion of a stone room with a great fissure in it. And it's clear to you that this once led down into some greater superstructure below. This is a descent into some ancient structure beneath the ground.
I will alert Celifarn and Dantharai and everyone to the fact that I found this break and there's a hole and it might lead further deeper down into the earth. But we should be wary of it too. You don't know if anything's going to be coming up or returning to come down.
Salafar bids everyone to collect nearby and to bring arms at the ready. So we don't know what, he agrees with Glorfarn. We don't know what to expect, but we did come here under the pretenses of danger.
Yes, and as you all travel through the muddy, swampy portions between these trees to this overgrown building, Paco, you can there are old statues, some of them only having parts of their faces or hands or arms gone, partially destroyed, some of them leaning over in the mud or overgrown, but they still glower down at you, and it looks as if they watch you as you pass. You sometimes wonder if you can hear the noises that you heard days ago when they were pointed out by Glorifarn, but it's hard to tell if that's just the wind that moves between the vines and the thorns.
Do you hear them talking? Statues talk. They're singing.
Paco. See? Oh no.
Paco, that's just the wind.
Oh, no.
Don't worry yourself. If you want us to examine these statues closer and to allay your worries, let's do so afterwards. Let's move on from these frightful above grounds. If anyone else, by the way, out of character, wants to explore the outside of these areas more, feel free to. I'm just kind of role-playing Celefarn, because he's very directed towards this. Ooh.
Okay.
That's cool.
You as you descend down into this this fissure. Now, this is not like Dungeons and Dragons. You can assume that you have equipment for things, basic equipment. You can assume that you have torches. You don't have to track all that kind of stuff. You just interact with things, and you can assume like you're heroes that have what you need. You just tell me. But so you descend down into this this vestibule down below, and the Paco, as you descend down the rope, the wind whistles even more so in the entrance, like a difference in pressure as you descend down into it, and there are motes of something that look like ash or a light gray dust of some kind that float amongst the torchlight that you carry. And there are intruding vines that burst from the earth into the walls and down along either side of this this crack that leads down into this place. Let me see here. All right. The first thing that you see, this room is probably 40 or 50 feet across, and it is a grand stone structure. These are the works that in the later days of Middle-earth are the sorts that are found among elves and dwarves. But these were formed by men's hands. Such things are not made anymore. And you can see a grand statue. It's probably 10 feet tall. On the north side of this chamber, north being relative, it's to your left. There's a father. It's not exactly what's shown here. Okay, there on the map. There's a father, and a mother, and two children. And it's beneath a statue of something very grand. And the elf, this pierces the elf's heart, here and now, to see this. This is Varda Elantari. And this is not something you've seen among the lands of men. And you can make a shadow test. Everyone else can make a lore test. The other thing that, while you're making that test, Don Thurai, what's obvious to you is that this was actually made by elves. Oh. Oh my goodness. You're gonna have to get rid of these digital dice, Rainey. they're terrible tonight. Oh no.
Physical dice. I was having better luck.
Yeah, you could switch to
Glorifarn
physical dice. Oh, go ahead.
Success.
You said you got a success, Glorifarn?
Yes, succeeded and got 1 success.
Ah, then you can make a shadow test. You'll still gain a benefit, though. We'll get to that in a moment.
That is with that's against wisdom. Is that correct?
I'm sorry. Let's see. Shadow test. It says, and I did go back and read this. It's reduce shadow points by number of successes. And this would be for dread, which is valor, and valor is heart.
Okay.
For me to read my writing.
And we roll a feat die with that. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a test. So you would do a regular test to meet your target number for your heart.
Okay. Okay. Well, I failed.
Oh boy. All right. So you get let's see. It is a dread shadow, but it's just 1. So you each get 1 shadow point. Glorifarn and Dontharai. As you see that, I mean, to me, especially in this case, Dontharai, it's the lament, the pain of so much that has passed on. You know, I mean, the yearning to be pulled to the west and seeing this. You know, but for Glorifarn, I think it's maybe from the opposite direction. It's how far your people have fallen. This is essentially an angel of a demigod, or an angel, or a statue of an angel or a demigod. And no such things exist among men that you know now. But anyways, that being said, you did succeed on your lore check. You would know that this is the Farda Ilantari, and you would know that it was made by elves, and also that it must have been a gift to this royal family from the elves. This is one of the things that you're looking for. You can store this away in your mind that you know, this noble house was deeply Numenorian and held the faith of elves. I'll just move your tokens here just so you can see. There's also a 30-foot chasm to the east. It's probably 60 feet away, but there's a chasm that just drops off here. But then the path continues on the other side. Alternately, there is a stone door further down a hallway to the south. I'm going to toss the ball over to Paco. What do you think? Where do you think you should go?
Oh. Well, he looks at the tall folk and shrugs. They're so noisy. Might as well strike it. But I'll head down here.
Okay.
So, these elven folk and high men, tombs and places of rest. Are we finding what we're looking for?
I think there's yet more to be discovered.
All right, well, try to be quiet. Let me just think. I have a headache. And I go to the door and I'll listen.
You hear nothing at the door, but as you put your hands on the door, you can tell that there's some sort of sliding mechanism, and this is made of heavy stone. It seems to have no give. It seems like it has it's locked. It is barred in some way.
All right. Reach into my forearm pocket and pull out my lockpick
All right.
and try to open the door. I'll say, "Give me a moment. You mind?"
I think that's a specific skill test. I can't remember which one. Let me see here. Which one is the... That would definitely be... Let me look.
Would it be craft, perhaps? I'm not sure what else it would relate to.
Stealth.
Or maybe explore? Does explore cover a wide band of things to do while exploring?
Travel.
The alarm.
I can actually... all work craft. Well, I'm happy to improvise because I'm looking. I don't actually see one specific dealing with something locked. So I agree. I think that it could be it could certainly be craft, or it could be. I also would propose that it can be stealth, or
It does read for stealth. Hunters, burglars, and solitary fighters use stealth to prosper in their trade.
yeah, that makes sense too. And he is a burglar. Extraordinary success with 2 6s. All right, my friend. Not only do you succeed, but you can actually gain an additional insight while you do it, or you can do it perfectly quietly, or you can do it quickly and gain some extra time, or you can do it and do something else at the same time, accomplish a second feat.
Well, I somehow managed to sneak a tankard of beer in here from a pony, and I give it to Celeborn. Hold that for me. I got this.
Celeborn's making the same face that I am right now at you.
Where did that even come from? He just climbed down a rope. That's great.
You brought this with you all this way?
The soft click as the mechanism gives, and I've got it, but my curiosity wins out. I use my action to peek into the door and open quietly.
All right, yeah, you're able to do that quietly and peek in. So you said quietly, right? Is that the goal?
Yeah, well, he's holding it.
Oh, you have 2 6s and to peek in, so gain an insight as well. Great point. Okay, so you do it perfectly quietly, and you are confident that there's no threat in this room so far. Unless something moves into it, there's no threat in here.
It's another strange place of you high folk and your elven kind. Look at this. Terrible rug.
It's one of the most opulent rugs any of you have ever seen, except for the elf, of course. This is some sort of hall of wonderment. In fact, there is a here as you enter on the other side is a stone basin. The stone basin is a placid but clear and clean pool of water. You can also see that there is another locked stone door. Here and here. And in addition, there is so it looks like these are like vertical or horizontal sitting spaces that all face the same way, and at the far end is there is a shattered statue, but the remnants of the statue is of a man holding a star.
See, LaFarn's gonna approach the rubble in front of the statue and maybe like look for the face, like if the face of the statue is still somewhere in the rubble. And does this statue appear to be of the similar make to the first one? You mentioned that the other one was made by elves, and you even mentioned something to the effect of that this noble house held faith in elves. And so
Yeah, I
sorry to
mean,
throw another question on top.
no,
Was
sure.
that angel from the prior room? Was that something that elves would worship, but men would not ordinarily be aware of its existence?
Possibly something like that, or it would be the elves would have a clarity of it. They would have a clarity of it, and they would have I don't want to maybe say like they could in an encyclopedic way describe what that thing is and what it means to elves, and also the course of history of Middle Earth. Like probably Don Thurai would just know that, if anyone asked him. But to a man, obscure song, scraps of poetry, bits of lore, myth, yeah, it's just mythos and only scraps thereof. But anyways, that's not this statue is merely of a man, just a man, but the man is holding a star, and the statue is partially destroyed.
What do you guys think of this room? There's that statue with the star. There's the pool of water that's still clear. It's in that, well, it looks like the basin is pretty ornate, perhaps it even matches some of the symbology. But it's pretty odd that it's still clear. It's a very, this place is falling to ruin. What do you guys think? Should we explore this room further, or the earlier room, or should we try to find a way forward?
I would like to see if I actually can piece together who this man with a star is.
Yeah. I would propose that would be actually more in the line of something like it's funny, I would actually call this like riddle, as opposed to lore. And what I mean by that is, I don't know that you could know this lore. I don't like it only because it's so specific. And it would have been so obscure for you at the time. It's something so specific and obscure in an already fallen kingdom. It would be among the realm of everybody knows everybody in Middle Earth at that point. So that's the reason I'm less. But you can do lore, I think, if you could justify it. But my thought is actually more like riddle, because it would be, is this something you can cleverly unfold using your intellect, your raw intellect as an elf? But I don't know. What do you think?
Sense to me. Okay, so I want to spin a point of hope to get additional die, and so I got nothing in there, and I'll put myself on camera for a second so that this roll could be seen.
I mean, we trust you, but I like to see it anyway. It's suspenseful. Whatever you want, though.
There we go.
Okay.
3 and 4, so I don't make it.
Ah, drats. Well, there is one thing that you can tell from this, although you don't have to make a shadow test, but it maybe is part of what happened earlier, though, because you see this, and I think maybe this almost kind of reinforces this. I think the stars are very important to elves. It was said that in the distant past, your people only had the stars, and it was all you needed in the elder days. So, that all of the wonder and magic of this world was there and available in that, and you sense a similar wonder and awe and love in the eyes of the statue, which are made in the realist classical style. So it almost looks like an actual person, the statue does.
Relay that to the rest of the party and forlornly mention about the stars and the significance to me personally about the old stories, but also relay that I can't for the life of me figure out who this is. He's neither elven, but he clearly has a higher love of elven culture than the men that Gonthroy has come across before.
Raises more questions about this noble house than it gives any answers to us. We come here warned by Gandalf of ages-old betrayals, but when we arrive here, it's only filled with the curiosities and the lost lore of our peoples. Nothing malevolent yet. Perhaps we should push further in. Maybe that'll change our opinion. Well, maybe that'll change my view on this place.
All right. Which door?
There's two of them.
You want the burglar to pick and do it?
Glenn, roll us a d6, Glenn. If it's high, we'll take the upper door. If it's low, we'll take the lower door.
It's 6.
Okay, let's take the upper door then. Let's examine it.
Okay. When you look at the upper door, and both of these doors are this way, it's a similar stone sliding type door as the previous one. And Paco, if you want to make the attempt again, it is locked, but because you're familiar with this door from last time, I will give you a bonus success die. Again, an extraordinary success. 2 6s. You can pick one of those options, that you want. You're muted.
Pardon me, always eager to crack.
All right. You managed to unlock the mechanism. What else do you want to do it quietly? Know what's on the other side? Know an additional thing, or yeah.
I'd like through on the other side.
All right. And one other thing, you can do 2.
Take an extra look on the other side.
Sure. I think I can. Yeah. Okay. So look. You hear dust on the other side, just like in the ambience, and that tells you that there's some sort of access or current, either to some other chamber or to above. And on the other side of this door, somewhere within echoing, you can hear skittering.
There's critters on the other side of this door. I say to the others. Maybe rats. But the door's open, we can go in.
If it's animals, perhaps Glorfarn should lead the way, as he is the best hunter among us. He knows the animals the best.
Yeah, Glorifarn, you can make a hunting check if you wanted to try to do something like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll make a hunt roll. Let's see here. Okay. It is favored. Yep. Okay. That is a success with an additional success. A 6.
What would you like to use your additional success for?
Ooh, I guess to gain some sort of insight.
Okay. Glorifarn, that skittering noise are very, very large spiders, larger than any you could have ever heard of. Larger, as big as a man. This is a crypt. They must have survived on whatever remains or openings or pathways lead back to the surface or whatever reservoir continues further in. Something looms in the darkness ahead, terminates at the end of this crypt. There are sarcophagi to your left or right, going off down into the darkness ahead of you.
Glorified, hearing the skittering, is going to draw his sword and look down at Paco and tell him, you might want to stay close to his tall folk. I think we found where we're supposed to be, and it's occupied.
All right. So you continue further in.
I mean,
What do you guys think? Do you guys think this is where we want to be? This sounds from the insight you just gleaned. You just gleaned from that. It sounds like this is a very long corridor, probably filled only with the crypts. I don't immediately have any ideas as to how we might get past a spider like this, a giant spider, but if we're looking for lore, we might be able to find it elsewhere as well.
we might, and this, as far as we can see, this crypt isn't a dead end. Is that right?
It is. It terminates at the end about 60 feet ahead in the darkness. Some big
okay.
static figure looms in the darkness ahead at the end of it.
Well, we could. It's up to you guys, but we could pop in, take a look, and if we can't find any information here, we can head through the other door.
I think the consideration here is whether, bless you, whether we want to risk fighting a great beast, or if anyone has any ideas to try to get around a spider or intimidate one. Because I think if we're walking through here, we're probably not just popping our head in. Because at least Paco, at the very least, definitely looks like food to this spider, I'm sure.
Well, go ahead, Rainey, please.
Lore, so would that be useful in this situation?
What is it again?
Shadow lore.
Yeah, you could you could make a test, and then if it either way though, it'll be a degree of success test. So you'll get some information, but with the test will give you more information.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Nice.
Oh man, automatic success. Oh, no extra successes. Well, nonetheless, because it's a Gandalf, I'll give you some additional information. So first of all, I assume that Glorifarn shares this information, right? About the spiders and stuff. You're muted.
Yeah, I forgot. Yes, he does.
Okay.
That's why I told Paco to stay in the middle.
Okay, yeah, good. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Dontherai, when Glorifarn tells you this, the fact that he says that these spiders must be the size of a man, you know that that must be the work of the shadow, and of dark powers, because that is not natural, and that when the shadow is cast across a place, that it gathers about it horrible things. And from the beginning of the world, one of the most horrible of things was the changing of things that crawled in the dark into monstrous beings.
Well, that's creepy to think about. Like it grew, like the shadow being here grew some spiders into being these man-eaters. Oh,
I'll say that's definitely not. These are definitely not beings that the typical person comes across. And
sounds like they're set here for us too.
yeah,
All right. Well, let's put it up to a vote. Continue ahead or try another path would be the binary outcome of the vote. So I'll just start at the top of my screen here. Sullifarn, continue ahead or find another path.
My vote's definitely for finding another path.
All right, Glorifarn.
My vote is to try this doorway out.
All right, Paco. Oh, you're muted.
He's probably opening the door already.
Oh, you've already opened the door and went inside, yes. But on the other side, they have identified that there are large man-sized spiders. This crypt, it has sarcophagi to either side. It continues about 60 feet ahead of you. There's some large static figure looming in the darkness 60 feet ahead where it terminates. And they know that in some of these sarcophagi are large spiders. Do you want to... Oh, go ahead.
In that case, I'm closing the door.
Okay, so, all right. And then...
In fact, I don't want to go that way. There must be another way. Less spiders, perhaps?
All right, Dontharai. You're muted.
were you arrest me? My wife just came to talk to me. All right, I don't hear anyone speaking.
Yeah. Do you want to continue ahead, or do you want to try to find another path?
I would probably say try a different path first.
Very well. Now, from back here, you have two options as far as that goes. You could go back the way you came, or you could try the next door to the south.
I'll try the next door.
All right. Paco, if you want to try it, you will get an additional success die.
Okay. Like, okay, everyone be quiet. You big folk are noisy.
Man, Paco's on fire. His dice.
Man, yeah.
You're easily able to unlock the mechanism again. You have no additional success though, so it's a matter of whether or not you want to open it.
I'll open it.
All right, you do that, and you find ahead. There's a snaking corridor. Now I'm going to kind of move you ahead just to kind of narrate this. This is not like Dungeons and Dragons. This corridor snakes ahead into the darkness to a T intersection. From this T intersection, you can see to your left that it bends back into a place which in the darkness you can't make out its shape or exactly what it is, but it's a statue of some kind. And there are spider webs that stretch from wall to wall. And then to your right, there's a path that continues on into the darkness into a larger antechamber. And it looks like the space opens up into a dark, where the ceiling is higher. The walls are much farther apart. Just opens up into the dark.
Right. Right. It looks gloomy either way, my friends.
What do you think, Glorifarn?
Oh, it definitely looks gloomy. Should we go left or should we go right?
Paco, still suffering from a bit of that arachnophobia, are you?
Yeah, I'm avoiding the webs. I'm going this way. Come on, let's go.
Alright,
Hurry up.
guess we're going that way.
First you want us to scamper along, then you tell us to be quiet, then you tell us to scamper along again.
Well, you're noisy either way.
So when you go here into this more open chamber, you can see that to the left there are, in the darkness, there's a grand stone double door and 2 statues. Now I'm going to describe this other antechamber first. Give me a moment here. You can see, I'm going to make I'm going to kind of separate you so I can use your light separately. I'm going to kind of like turn you into a big formation so that you can see the chamber better. This is also a crypt, in a square about 80 by 80 feet in the darkness, and there is a statue here of a husband holding a wife, and something is written in a language that the 2 rangers read. The other 2 would need to pass a lore test, I think, to know it. It's written in Adunaic. And, yeah.
I wouldn't understand that. Well,
No?
We've yet to be accosted yet.
Said-
Perhaps we should split up. There's those statues with the double door, and there's the crypt. Personally, Celifarn is most interested in the grand double doors with the statues. That sounds to me like the right way to go.
Right.
Yeah.
I will move.
Glorifarn will go with you.
Alrighty. So the 2 rangers, I'll move to the double doors. What's everyone else do?
Doors too.
Okay, so everybody's going to the doors?
yeah.
Alright. Alright, so you, and we're almost done, in case you're all wondering. So the 2 double doors, the stone double doors, are clearly also sealed by some sort of ancient mechanism. The statues have some sort of rune on them, and there is something written in Adunaic written below each of them. They look as if they're inclining their ears.
Oh, it's like they're listening for us to say a certain word. I think we
Could
should
we
check. Oh, go ahead, Len.
Oh, I was just going to say, for us rangers, could we make a lore test? See if we might be able to decipher the text?
You can, the rangers just know this language. You don't even have to make a test.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Let's read what's written on all the statues and then see if there's some sort of riddle to piece together.
Okay. You read...
Or you, Paco.
Oh, go ahead. You read the text that's at the bottom of these two statues that are facing each other and inclining their ear down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You do not recognize the rune that is on each of them. I would say that Paco and Dontharai could make a lore test to see if they recognize something about the rune. But as far as the Rangers, you speak Adunaic. It is the language of your people. And it says, "In the darkness of war, I lost her. And then it claimed me also to shadow. A love so secret it could not be spoken. Her name, Learun. I could not call her the name I gave her among the courts of men. Now her ears cannot hear it spoken. Her bright spirit, a shining star."
Does that ring the legend of Baron?
Hmm.
It might. Certainly ties a lot of the details in this crypt together so far. I bet this woman, I guess, must both be elven, which we might have noticed if we examined those figures earlier at the statue, and it seems we're looking for her name.
Her true name.
Yeah, her true name.
Physical dice for the lore test and got a Gandalf and a 6.
Then you recognize what the rune is. This rune is a warding rune, and it is Khaz'dul. It is Dwarven. You do not know exactly what it means or how to operate it, but it is some sort of great Dwarven artifice that has been granted that seals the doors shut.
I guess it's curious.
Is it a riddle? I ask.
It is. Lord Farn
Ooh.
replied.
What?
A riddle of sorts, though it's also a rather plain statement. It seems the patriarch of this tomb lost his wife, and misery claimed him as well. And it seems as though his wife may have been one of the fair folk.
You said that you checked the other statue?
Yeah, is the same thing written on both the statues here? Because I think at this point it's probably worthwhile for us to go back and check the other statues if we don't immediately find the name of this that we're looking for.
It is the same thing written on this statue. If you go back and read the statue of the man holding the woman, it is partially shattered, just like it shows here. And it says in Adunaic, "A forbidden love, kept secret from Lord and world above. Angmar claims you, fairest maiden of Arthedain, heart and soul broken, lover, confidant." And then a word you do not recognize unless you can make a lore test, except that Dontharai can recognize the word, although he doesn't recognize any of the other words. "And best friend. All courage to fight was in you, now gone. I look upon stone and ash, not my lover. Warm embrace, sweet laughter, longing, memories that torment. I cannot forget. Valar, forgive me. Valar, forgive her."
Celifard calls. Yeah, sorry, I was going to call your character over. What do you think of this?
What's the name that I would recognize?
None of the other words in this text, they're all in Adunaic, but this word is in Sindarin, and it means shining star.
I'll bring that forth to. Is it Califarn?
Celifarn, however you'd like it.
Okay. I'm getting you. I get you and Glorifar confused. You look like twins. Um, yeah, bring that to his attention and tell him that I'm not sure what the rest of the words are, and if he can, if he knows them.
I repeat back to him some of those words, and it's more warm emotions from the king. Oh, assuming it's a king, from the noble to his deceased wife, and I ask Dawnthrai whether Shining Star would be that doesn't seem and that doesn't seem immediately like it'd be a name of someone. Do you recognize it as a name?
I recognize it as a name, yeah, because that matches the naming conventions of our elves. But why would that be written on the tombs of men?
Well, it seems the loved one of this noble who is buried here was indeed one of your own folk, an elf. And if Shining Star really is her name, perhaps stating it aloud before those statues we were just in front of could remove the wards blocking our progress.
This is, I know this is deep lore, but can I make another lore test to see if I can remember anything about someone of fame being named Shining Star?
I don't think you need to make a test. There are references to people, and you're correct. But you can make. I actually do make a. Yeah, make a lore test. There is one thing you might note, but no one of significance comes to mind in your eidetic and ancient memory. But there is one thing that is probably lore worthy. Did you roll?
Make it.
Oh, what? Say again.
I said I don't make it.
Oh man, those dice! Dang it! Holy smokes! Bad luck tonight.
I wasn't far below it though.
All right.
If you'd be willing to give me a success for woe with that one.
All right, yeah, let's do it. You will have to pass a shadow test if you fail. That'll be the woe.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. This seems really important.
Okay. So yeah, that's a success with woe. Yeah, so you know what it is, but you need to make a shadow test because what it is something even. It pierces your heart that has passed and skipped across centuries without having to carry these things while you wait for your own journey. And this would be a dread, so valor.
Okay. Well, it's the thing. It's the same number. I'm trying to remember. Is valor is underneath?
Valor is heart. It'd be a heart,
Heart?
target number to test. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to make it.
Oh
So
man.
how much shadow do I take?
You take one more shadow point, and it's because you realize what you say is you say this to Celefarn, sorry, that if this is the name of an elf, it could only be one name. This would be what was called the matron name, that is the doom name.
Her name. Okay. That's definitely something because that you don't use mother names hardly ever. That's very rare.
You guys want to try it before we run out of time? Okay.
Yeah,
Let's try
Yeah,
it.
let's try it.
Alrighty. So you go up to the statues again, and what do you do?
I'll say the name.
All right. What language do you say it in?
Perhaps you'd like a pickle.
I'll say it in the Dunedain's native language. What was it, Sindarin?
Adunaic.
Or in Adunaic, yeah.
Nothing happens.
Too many ancient languages.
Yeah.
Celefarn kind of points his hand expectantly towards Dontharai. You have the tongue of your people. Say the name.
In Sindarin. But I speak the Oserandic dialect, though, so it's not. It's a little bit different than main Sindarin.
Sure. Yeah. Weird. Yeah. So it's something like. Well, I'm not going to attempt it. Yeah. You say shining star in Sindarin, and you say that, and the ancient double doors open. Let me see here. And beyond them, you see a vast circular chamber, probably 150 feet in diameter. There are massive statues, those carved by Numenorians. They tower 100 feet above you in this huge underground domed chamber. There is a great hole in the floor here, and it looks as if the tomb of whatever this person once was has slid and fallen deep into the earth below. But just at the edge of this vast cavern is a shining and flawless blade. The Rangers can make a shadow test against greed.
Ooh. And that would be Valor, if I remember. Right?
Yeah, greed is wisdom, actually, and which is your wits.
Wisdom. Oh, I passed.
You have passed the test. The sword lay a portion of the ruined sarcophagi that did not fall into the pit. Okay, and what about you, Celefarn?
This would be a really difficult test for Celefarn. I'm guessing you can't. I haven't. Are you able to spend hope to increase the chances of success on a corruption roll?
I don't see anything that says you can't. It's your hope. You only get one, so.
I'll just make the roll normally. Fingers crossed. Wait, I would have to roll almost maximum to pass this. Ah, heck, I'll go for it. Oh! A 6 and a Gandalf. Okay.
You succeed. All right. You both have a longing to pick up and seize this blade, but someone gently takes it and wraps it, whether it's Paco or Dontharai, and treating it appropriately for something, an ancient and wondrous relic of the old world. And that is when you begin to hear the skittering noises coming from the pit below. And that's where we'll end for the night.
Oh,